So, everybody, welcome to today's webinar on the Amazon strikes and meeting the Amazon challenge in 2025. Let's get started. My name is Antonio Rosario. I'm a third-year Local 804 Teamster, and I'm a co-chair of the TDU Steering Committee. I am also the New York market lead for our union's Amazon division. Today's call is organized by Teamsters for Democratic Union. We're a network of Teamsters who inform and involve members to win better contracts and build worker power. We support the International Union's fight to organize Amazon workers and the Teamsters Amazon division. We are independent of the IBT. The fight to organize Amazon is heating up, as you all may know. In 2024, more Amazon workers held job actions, organized committees, and demanded union recognition than ever before. Today, we're going to cover a few things. We're going to cover reports from the Amazon Teamster strikes across the country in December, which was phenomenal. We're going to talk about these strikes, how they were different than any typical Teamster strike, and how they set us up for more Amazon organizing in 2025. We're going to talk about how Amazon is a growing threat to Teamster jobs and wages, you know, things that we have fought for decades, and how rank and file Teamsters are supporting the movement to organize Amazon. We will hear from Amazon Teamsters and organizers who took action across the country. And after the call, we'll send you a text and email you a take action form. Fill it out, because at the end of the day, organizing Amazon will take all of us. A lot is happening, so let's get to it. First, to give an overview of the Amazon strikes, we will hear from Emil McDonald. Emil is a UPS steward in Local 315 in Richmond, California. He is also a longtime organizer in Northern California. Welcome, my brother Emil. If you don't mind, can you say a few words?
Morning, thanks, Tony. Like you said, my name is Emil McDonald. I'm a volunteer coordinator from Local 315 in NorCal, organizing the Amazon campaign. So the strikes you saw last month were the culmination of a big year of change and growth in Teamster Amazon organizing. For years, the Teamsters have supported workers with shop floor actions, enforcing their rights and building community support in key Amazon locations. 2024 was the year where that groundwork paid off. Those groups of workers holding job actions became Teamster committees. They're out and open as Amazon Teamsters, demanding that Amazon recognize their union. Workers at two major Amazon air hubs, KCVG in Northern Kentucky and KSBD in San Bernardino, are organizing with the Teamsters. Amazon workers have won the right to bargain at 25 locations, but Amazon refuses to come to the table. So in December, Amazon Teamsters organized the first nationally coordinated strikes. Amazon Teamsters at 8 delivery stations and an air hub walked out the week before Christmas. Teamsters also extended picket lines to 100 fulfillment centers across the country. The strike and news coverage reached tens of thousands of Amazon workers and involved dozens of Teamster local unions. If you're a Teamster member on this call, you may be used to thinking of a strike as a last resort to stop the company from operating until they settle a contract. These Amazon strikes were different, and the way we measure their success is different. We knew from the start that Amazon wasn't going to give its workers a contract and recognize the union as a result of one strike. But we could and did use a strike to build our organizing strength so we can hold even bigger actions in the future. The strikes built worker confidence in taking action and facing down the company. That strengthens existing Amazon Teamster units as well as committees that are organizing and still underground. The strikes also taught us tactical lessons. By watching how Amazon responds, we're able to see how to be more effective in the future. One of the biggest measures of success is generating new organizing leads, workers who want to get involved with the Teamsters. Thousands of Amazon workers reached out to us during the strike. Those are the seeds of the next wave of union Amazon facilities that we're going to organize over the next year. That growth is going to make future strikes bigger and more devastating to the company. Finally, we caught the nation's attention and had the public on our side against the company. Amazon's strategy is to completely ignore their workers and pretend the union doesn't exist. What the public saw was thousands of workers and Teamsters taking action. And now more workers know that the public stands with them. So these are just some of the ways to think about how the strikes help to advance organizing at Amazon. We're going up against one of the biggest, most powerful, and most anti-union companies in the world. Winning is going to require building a campaign that can scale up over the course of multiple years. Escalations like last month's strike are the foundation for future organizing. Future organizing is the foundation for further escalation. This is how we're going to grow, and it's how we're going to win.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, Emil. Somebody just mentioned in the chat, and I think it's very important, all the fires going on down there in California. A lot of our Teamster families are out there, and our heart goes out to those folks. So, we're glad you guys are safe up there, and we'll keep you in our prayers. Now we're going to hear reports from Amazon Teamsters who struck across the country. First, we're going to hear from Amazon workers at DBK4 delivery station in Queens and New York. I want to welcome my brothers Brandon Radke and Lamont Hopewell, who I've had the pleasure of working with for quite some time. And if you could start off with Brandon, we'd appreciate it, brother.
Hey everyone, good morning. Thank you all for being here. It's really amazing to see, the turnout, and I really am confident we're going to win this fight with the support of everyone here. So thank you. Yeah, the strike was a huge step forward. It was, years of organizing paying off, and we were able to turn out close to 300 workers on strike, which was, I was very impressed by, how everyone came together behind that strike. Um, the experience on the picket line, I saw my coworkers change from it. Like, people that were hesitant to even sign a union card a couple months before were stepping up and taking leadership on the picket line. I'm sure many people saw the police come and arrest Rosario the first day. They did that because he was running the picket line. They knew if they took him out, then they could shut it down. But by the end of the day, the workers were running the picket line. We had people that were stepping up that had never been on a picket line a week before that were running it and directly negotiating with the management over how many trucks we were going to let through. And, even though we weren't able to get, contract negotiations, we were negotiating. At first the trucks were coming out all aggressive and recklessly, speeding past the picketers. And we told them, okay, if you want to send them out like that, then you're gonna get less trucks through. And so we lowered the amount of trucks that were going through. And then the management all of a sudden took it upon themselves to make sure that all the drivers knew to come out slow and steady and safely. And then we allowed another truck through every couple minutes. Um, Yeah, it wasn't just the strike either. Preparing for the strike gave us a very concrete goal to organize towards. And we saw, the way Amazon works, there's these different DSP companies that run drivers, and there's uneven development among the DSPs, but organizing towards the strike saw some of the less developed DSPs really step up to the challenge and strengthen themselves for this action. So yeah, that was our experience.
Lamont, you're up, brother.
Hey, how you doing? Can everybody see me? Is everybody okay?
Yeah,
Hello?
you're good.
Okay. Yeah, how you doing, guys? My name is Lamont Hopewell, and I'm also Teamster Amazon driver at DBK4. And yeah, I just want to touch on a little bit of things that Brendan said. I'm fairly new to the company. I've been with Amazon for about 8 months now. Um, When I first got to Amazon, maybe about 2 weeks in, Brandon had approached me about, gave me some insight into what the Teamsters were and what they were trying to accomplish for, the drivers at DBK4 and just across the country. And, when he told me about the Teamster, it intrigued me because, um, you know, n- not just because of, the benefits they could bring to a workplace and having a contract there, the type of job security we would have, but because, I myself was familiar with Teamsters. Um, I had a little tenure with UPS as a driver, and I also had friends that, were drivers there and still are drivers there. So when he told me about that, I was, like I said, I was really intrigued. And, yeah, so I was really, intrigued that they were trying to bring a union to DBK4. And from that moment, me and Brendan just started trying to build the movement at DBK4. And we just started letting, drivers at our center, we started educating them and, making them aware of who the Teamsters were and what they were trying to do and the type of benefits they were trying to bring to our center. Yeah, so as we were doing that, the movement grew and we basically won majority vote at DBK4. Unfortunately, Amazon did not recognize our union and Teamsters, which forced us to take action. And we did a march on the boss, demanding that they recognize us as Teamsters. But like I said, unfortunately, Amazon, they wouldn't budge. So basically, along with the union busting and the safety issues that were going on in our facility, it led up to the strike. The strike was great. It was a great experience when I was out there on the picket. Having to meet people who were in the same struggle, who are actually going through it with their organization. It was really inspiring. The major thing that stood out to me on the picket line for myself was the amount of cops there were trying to control it. That was really like eye-opening. That was my first time ever on a picket line. I was a picket captain. So that experience, it showed me how to control a crowd within the picket, how to manage a crowd. Yeah, so we had, like I said, the biggest thing about being on the picket line was the cops. And like Brendan stated, we had an issue with one of our drivers who was actually there and he actually got arrested. And it was just crazy because my first reaction, being where I'm from, is just to scream and yell and, try to get results that way. And long and behold, what I seen was that's not the way. It's really fighting law with law because the Teamsters actually got an injunction against the police, which allowed us to, you know, picket in peace, I guess you would say. We got to do what we wanted to do. Like Brendan said, we got to control the vans that were coming out. Whereas the day before, the cops were, harassing us, arresting people. Like Brendan said, Tony got arrested the first day. They also arrested the driver. So that was really big. When I seen that, I learned something that day, and that was you don't always have to fight force with force, So, when they got that injunction, that was really big. It was really eye-opening to me. Um, yeah, so that was my experience. And like Brendan said, what we need to do is just keep fighting. We need to keep growing this movement and making what we all did a blueprint, using what we did and passing it on to other DSPs that are lacking support, and also other DSPs that don't really know how to organize. When Brendan came up to me and told me about the Teamsters and what they were trying to do, that inspired me to, talk to other drivers and things like that. So we just got to pass that blueprint along to other DSPs and support them and, use what we did, like I said, as a crutch to help other DSPs and to get to where we want to get to.
Thank you, Lamont. We appreciate you, brother, man. And
Thank you.
some real heartfelt stuff there. I mean, watching you guys after, me and Jorgensen got arrested, watching you guys from inside that van, that cop van, and watching you guys still walk that picket line, I can't tell you how proud I am. I can't tell you how proud we are as a division to see how the Teamsters leaders really stepped up in that building. We've been organizing a long time at DBK4, and we're really, really proud of the Teamster leaders that have emerged from that building. As part of the strikes, we extended also picket lines to Amazon fulfillment centers across the country. Fulfillment centers are the warehouses where Amazon store their inventory. Amazon still relies on UPS, though, to move a lot of their packages, right? Especially during peak season. With extended picket lines, we were able to turn around UPS feeder trucks and which are trailers, and prevent those packages from getting out. We're also able to talk with Amazon workers. Zach Neely is a member of the organizing committee at the Amazon KCVG Air Hub in Northern Kentucky. He's going to tell us about the impact of the extended picket lines in Kentucky. My brother Zach, take it away.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure to be here. Yeah, we did not do a picket line and strike action at our own facility at KCBG. Rather, we just extended picket lines to Monroe, Ohio, CVG2 in Hebron, which I took part in, and some others in Louisville and in the tri-state area. And my experience, it was pretty relaxed compared to some of the other facilities that went out. But we did turn some trucks around from Teamster represented shops. Those lines were honored by those Teamsters, which is very important in doing actions going forward, is that we continue to have solidarity together. In addition to that, there was no negative response from workers that I saw out on the picket line. I left work directly in my PA vest and went to the lines to show workers that it isn't, just what Amazon likes to call outsiders, but it's actual Amazon workers that are willing to come out there and stand out in the cold with everybody else in solidarity. And there was general positive reviews. One guy said it's about damn time you got here, so that was good to hear. And I know management was probably freaking out on the inside because I bet they had a couple hundred flyers just laying around with Teamster messaging and barcodes for workers to scan. And due to that barcode being on there, we had hundreds of leads from all over the tri-state area. And it's really kicked off organizing in those facilities as well. Kiln, Monroe, and then some down in Louisville as well, all the way up to Cleveland. So things are looking good, but it's going to take Teamsters from all over the country to do what we just did this past peak, so that this year we can really hurt Amazon and try to bring them to the table to get the fair and just contracts.
Thank you so much, Zach. Appreciate you, brother. Showing up in person really gives Amazon workers the confidence to join our movement. Finally, we're going to hear from more people in California, two Southern California Teamster sisters, about the strikes in their area. Jenny Beckenstein is a UPS Teamster in Los Angeles, Local 396, and a longtime Amazon organizer in Southern California. And then Vanessa Valdez is an Amazon Teamster driver at DAX 5 delivery station in the City of Industry. Jenny, can you take it away?
Sure. Thank you, Rosario. So yeah, here in SoCal, we're very blessed. We have the largest concentration of Amazon warehouses. We've got delivery stations, fulfillment, sortation, and then very importantly, KSBD, which is Amazon's second largest air hub. So every part of their operation is here. Literally, there's an Amazon facility in every city down the street from each other. So it's a really big deal because Amazon makes a lot of their money here. And also a lot of people work for Amazon here. Like if you haven't worked for Amazon or you don't know someone who has, it's very unlikely. Most people are very affected by Amazon here. So we have a big fight. Here we've been organizing here for a long time. I've been involved for 5 years. When I got here, people had already been involved for 3 years. So it's like 8 or 9 years of the Teamsters organizing here in SoCal. So it's no surprise that places where our union has been organizing for a long time, we had the most effective strikes. And of course, where the workers were leading them. So at the delivery station I was at, which is DAX 5 at a City of Industry, the drivers struck the building for 5 days. And by day 3, Amazon had canceled over 75% of the volume at the building. Like we saw, there was way less routes. We heard from inside workers that the volume was canceled. They're pretty much just standing around. And that was awesome because obviously we're affecting Amazon, and also because, so not all the drivers were on strike. There were some drivers who were still working. And initially they were annoyed because we were holding them up. But then by day 3, they were like, this is awesome. Like our routes are so light. Like it was right before Christmas. So they were getting home to their families. They were like, they loved the strike routes, which made it really positive. And where we thought it was going to be very antagonistic with them because they weren't striking, they were super happy. They loved it. And we really were able to establish like the power of the workers there. And as we call it, it's Teamster Town over there in City of Industry. At KSBD, the Air Hub, where the workers have been organizing for over 4 years, just in anticipation of the strike, Amazon canceled 50% of the volume. We also have another building here in Victorville, where they completely held them up. I don't know the exact percentage, but definitely impacted their operations over there. So in places where we've organized long-term, Amazon takes the Teamsters strike very seriously. Obviously, they knew it was coming, so they canceled the volume. So they know that we're serious. But of course, the best part has been seeing the Amazon workers over the past few months take like a lot of leadership of this fight and of their strike, getting their buildings strike ready, and eventually leading a very positive and successful strike here. So I want to introduce Vanessa Valdez, who we met on a strike line 9 months ago. And somewhere along the way, she says she fell in love with the union. So she's one of our leaders at a DAX 5 who led her coworkers on strike. Take it
Good
away, Vanessa.
morning. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Good morning, everyone else. Yes, during the strike, we learned afterwards that management had to drop routes, not only drop routes, but owners were running routes. Morning and night dispatches were running routes. They were having drivers do double routes. They were meeting up at the local Walmart a few blocks away to move product, meet up with drivers there to move product. So I'm sure they were miserable. Going on strike was exciting, but a lot of us were fearful, of course. But those of us on the committee, we stood strong. We came together and we convinced other drivers to stand up, use the voice, know their worth, and picket with us. On day 2, we learned that the cycle zeros, which were normally at 5 a.m., they were being bumped up. I mean, they were usually at like 6 a.m., so they were going to bump it to try to beat us at 5 a.m. So starting day 2, we made sure all of us were there at 4:15 to beat them. And it stayed that way for the rest of the week.
That's
Having the union in my life, I've felt so powerful. And I'm a meek and mild person, even though I'm the longest tenured with my DSP. Been driving for 6 years, step van driver for 5. And now I'm seen as like the big betrayer, but I see the bigger picture here, what is happening with Amazon and with our drivers, seeing the anguish, seeing all the drivers that have came before me, long gone. And I'm still standing here. I want everyone to know that if I can find my voice, I know there's so many out there that have their voice within them. And I want us to stand in solidarity with each other, because to feel that brotherhood and the camaraderie of the Teamsters, it is so powerful. And a lot of us don't know what that is. Even to know what the union is, like I didn't. We deserve that. So I ask the UPSers, if you see your local Amazon drivers out there, make that connection with them, have those important conversations with them, plant those seeds, because we're alone in our vans all day with our thoughts. Have your voices ringing in their ear, how important this is, what it is to be in a union, to find your voice, utilize your voice. Like I am all in to take your oath and to be in the union halls and be with others who care about you, because with this job in Amazon and with the model that they have built, like everyone washes their hands of you. They don't even want to accept you as an Amazon employee. So when you're in a room with so many others that really do care about you and your fight and your future and your families, I want that to ring loud and clear. Thank you.
wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Vanessa. As you guys can hear it in her voice, I mean, it's real. The Amazon strikes accomplished a lot. Workers stepped up and became leaders. We generated new leads in important facilities across the country, and we learned a lot about our ability to affect Amazon's operations and their responses to them. The fight to organize Amazon affects all Teamsters. Amazon is growing, and their low-wage sweatshop anti-union model is a threat to hard-won Teamster wages and conditions, things the Teamsters have fought for decades. Not just UPS either, but in warehousing, grocery, and more, so much more. Caitlin Barr from the Teamsters Local 89 is here to give us some numbers on Amazon growth and business model and the threat it poses to us. Caitlin is a UPS Teamster at Worldport in Louisville, Kentucky, and a lost time Amazon organizer working on the KCVG campaign. Caitlin, take it away.
You, Rosario. Hello, everyone. As mentioned, I'll be giving a short overview of the Amazon threat. So essentially, what was once a small online bookseller has now become a massive online marketplace. And now they've set their sights on controlling all aspects of the logistics process from the moment the customer clicks buy now on the website to the moment the package arrives on their doorstep. The goal is to eliminate reliance on UPS and other third-party logistics providers. Slide. Amazon made significant progress towards achieving this goal during the pandemic, when a massive influx of profit allowed them to finance an enormous building spree. This network of facilities, which ranges from fulfillment centers to delivery stations to air hubs, sortation centers, and others, stretches across the country and forms the backbone of its new logistics empire. Slide. Perhaps a better metric for comprehending the speed and scale of Amazon's growth and the severity of its threat to unionized logistics workers is its massive increase in employment. Amazon now employs 1.5 million workers, an amount over 4 times the size of UPS's unionized workforce. Slide. Given this enormous scale, it's not surprising that Amazon has overtaken every other private parcel carrier in the country, holding a larger market share than both FedEx and UPS. They're directly competing with UPS now, even launching services to ship packages for other businesses, behaving like a third-party logistics. Slide. So a lot of you are UPSers and are very familiar with these numbers. Amazon workers, both drivers and warehouse workers, are paid far less than UPS workers and top out in only 3 years. You can switch slides again. This causes very high turnover at Amazon. The lack of raises pushes workers to quit. Slide. But Amazon's 3-year churn and burn model is not just about failing to invest in workers' pay. Amazon also destroys its workers' bodies at far higher rates than its industry peers and faces no accountability. As the DHL and UPS workers on this call know, this is a line of work that entails a lot of physical risks. However, at Amazon, this is exacerbated by managers who brazenly tell workers to ignore safety protocols and routinely tell workers not to ask for help. Just last week, I heard about a worker who was forced to lift 90-pound non-cons alone while pregnant without assistance or supervision. And she ended up getting a hernia that she could only treat after she gave birth. These kinds of stories are, there are a multitude of them. And after workers are injured, things only get worse. Amazon tells them that they can't be accommodated at work if they see their own doctor instead of letting Concentra handle their treatment, even for potentially life-altering injuries, such as torn rotator cuffs. In that case, in the case of torn rotator cuffs, I know of multiple cases where workers were pressured to go through months of physical therapy instead of, can you slide back? Or, no, actually, it's fine there. Instead of just getting an MRI, going through surgery right away. And even if workers capitulate to all of these demands, Amazon often tells them after treatment that they can't accommodate them anyways and ice them out of employment. They're also habitually fired after taking medical leave. The company just says that they never approved the leave in the first place. A simple mix-up in accommodations paperwork or leave paperwork or a miscommunication between HR and your manager is a common way to lose a career at Amazon, even for employees of over a decade. Without just cause and steward representation, workers have no recourse and no voice. And as Amazon grows larger and larger, eating up more and more of the market share in the logistics industry, it will increasingly set the standard for Teamster warehouse workers, package drivers, and the labor movement as a whole. The only way to avoid a future of dangerous, precarious, low-wage work for all of us is to get our Teamster coworkers at UPS, DHL, and other companies on board to unionize Amazon now.
Thanks, Caitlin. Appreciate that. That's literally a lot of what I'm sure a lot of people may know and may not know. If you're on this call, you understand why Amazon workers' fight is our fight. Take this information and share it with your coworkers. To talk more about this fight, where we're headed, and why you're needed, I want to welcome IBT Amazon Division Director, Randy Corgan. Randy, if you don't mind saying a few words, sir.
Sure. First, thank you for having me on here. And may I first point out, as mentioned earlier, all of those individuals being impacted by the fires here in California and Los Angeles. And something that often gets overlooked is the public employees that are making sure that those firefighters have everything that they need. Public works people, individuals that work within the offices and the infrastructure to make sure that not just the firefighters have what they need, but everybody else around them has what they need. Those work in the shelters, animal control. It's incredible the amount of outpouring that happens in those moments. So just please, a big thank you. I know we flipped all of our billboards in the area to thank all of these courageous workers to make sure in this time of need that that those very important tragedies are minimized as much as possible. In a lot of cases by Teamsters and union workers. So it's important for us to thank those people. Second, I want to start off by congratulating all the workers, Lamont and Vanessa and Zach. This is exactly what this is all about. This is incredible. Congrats to all the workers for taking charge and taking control of their future, because this is what it was all about. We have built all this out, done all this work. Everybody did all the work in their respective areas to start to get to this point. And may I say, it's just the beginning. This isn't the end. This is barely the tip of the spear. It's barely the tip of the iceberg. With you all witnessed firsthand the media dominance for 72 hours. On December 20th alone, we had 5,934 media clips on radio and TV. Over the span of that of the entire strike, that was more than 20,000 media clips, completely dominated the cycle for 72 hours. Those of you that witnessed what seemed like calm picket lines on the at the fulfillment centers turned away thousands of vehicles. Think about it. You got a couple hundred locations. You just do 10, 15, or 20. That immediately flips into thousands, which is exactly what this was all about. And so workers are absolutely inspired. Another stat that I think is important to know is the original TikTok video from the KSBD Demand for Recognition that is now the 25th bargaining unit at KSBD in Ontario, in San Bernardino, California, of more than 1,200 workers, has over 12 million views on it. What's happening is workers are inspiring each other, viewing each other through the lens on social media, recognizing that they're the face of worker power and they have absolute control in the end. The reality is they're taking it right to the boss's doorstep. So congrats to all of you, Lamont, Zach, Vanessa, and all the rest of you that may be on this call. What an incredible job. You captured America. You captured the attention and you brought awareness, because when Amazon was saying that you were not their employees and it was misleading, it was absolutely, who's misleading? Amazon is misleading. You got to scratch your head and go, there's an Amazon van, an Amazon uniform pulling out of an Amazon facility, and then Amazon in the news is saying they're not our employees. Oh my goodness. You know what happened? Is it backfired on them. They got run right over. They got run over by their own narrative and they could not catch up. This tells us you are in control. The workers are in control. And hearing Lamont talk about how he took control of his own picket line is exactly what was being built. This is what is being built across this country. And again, it is the beginning. What we will be doing after during the next couple weeks is evaluating and assessing all of the things that happened in the various areas throughout the country, all the different geographies. The division has got to sit down and identify many of the things in which Vanessa and Jenny had pointed out, as well as all the other locations across the country. When Amazon is saying, oh, you didn't affect our operation, we knew they were going to say that. That's okay. Feel free to say it, because you inspired workers at the end of the day. Assessing how the air operation changed, assessing how delivery changed, assessing how fulfillment centers adjusted, shows us in our first massive movement that first touch and how that builds out. The next step up, when it accelerates more and larger, will guide us on how to be more effective and guide us on how we can hit more locations. And most importantly, the question may be, what can I do to help? This is where the call to action comes in. What can I do? Shake the hand of that Amazon worker. Let's say you see them delivering somewhere en route, or you happen to see somebody inside of a restaurant or making a delivery, and or just somebody on lunch trying to catch lunch. Reach out, shake their hand, and congratulate them for what they did. Tell them, we want to join the effort with you. We want to help you. You have our support. Millions of Teamster families out there are willing to help you, and not just the Teamsters, the entire community. Amazon said it itself during the strike. I'll close by saying this. They said it during the strike. These are outsiders on the picket line. Now, of course, they failed to mention their own workers on the picket line, but most importantly, they said they're outsiders. Yeah, those are community members. Those are people that work in the industry. Those are Teamsters, that sisters and brothers that are saying, hey, we want to help. Those are your customers, Amazon. You know, you might want to think twice about how your PR machine is going on, because you know what? As far as I'm concerned, the Teamsters did a really good job. These workers did a phenomenal job, and hats off to all of them. And you know what? I can't wait to see the next thing these workers are willing to do. Tony, everybody, thank you for having me on. It's incredible to see all the work start to percolate and get to the top. Welcome to the fight. We're here.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you very much for those powerful words. And yeah, it was incredible. And here we are. I see a lot of people in the chat are asking, how do I help? I see a lot of people talking about having their backs and helping Amazon workers, which is great. Not everyone is going to become a full-time Amazon organizer, but there are plenty of ways that rank and file members can step up to meet the Amazon challenge. Almost all of you know Amazon workers, whether it be a brother, a sister, somebody that works there, or you just see them on the road, like Randy said, or on the route. You can spread the word. You can show up to support Amazon Teamsters for actions and picket line extensions. It really does make a difference. So let's hear from a few rank and file Teamsters who are taking action to meet the Amazon challenge. One of the most important ways you can support Amazon Teamsters is by showing up for them during actions, picket line extensions, walkouts, or even strikes. Abraham Albert, one of our brothers from Local 804, is a UPS rank and file Teamster out of New York City who joined the DBK4 Amazon Teamsters on the line. Albert, would you mind saying a few words, my brother? Albert, if you're there, you can unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Am I being heard? Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the fight, as Randy put it. Two things. The reason why I even attempted to go on the strike line when Amazon was out there was because I remember when UPS was fighting against their own members, and we're in a union, and the management team in UPS said, yeah, we don't care about your union and we're going to destroy you guys as best as we can. So that told me one thing. This is not just okay, Teamsters trying to keep their unions afloat. This is telling me Teamsters need to go reach out and get more people to come into the fight. Without that, this does not work. One of the biggest things that I've learned with going on the strike line, when the picket line, when Amazon workers see Teamster gear, Teamsters, rank and file members out there with them, they know that Big Brother has their back. It's a horrible thing when you feel like you do everything you can in your power to make a life for your family, and someone above you says, I don't give a damn. When Amazon workers, Amazon Teamster workers, see UPS, Teamsters, and Teamsters of all over all the regions come together, they know my big brother has my back and he's here to help me fight. And that's what they need to see, and that's what we need to get more members. Teamster, Amazon, people on the fence, even rank and file Teamsters on the fence. Like, should I come and do this? Should I help? Yes, you should. It needs to be done. One of the young ladies mentioned how Amazon was a bookstore, an online bookstore. I remember how Barnes and Nobles just started closing their doors. And that goes for Barnes and Nobles, that goes for Sears, that goes for Models, that goes for anybody who were used to going into a store, having a relationship with the people in the store and getting Amazon took that away. They took the customer service out of delivering. We can't allow that. We have to say something. So my only thing I'm here to do, honestly, is to say we need more people to come in and help with the fight. We need more people, bringing coffee online, bringing hot soup, even as simple as Randy brought it. You see the Amazon guy and you're in your UPS gear. Hey, how you doing? You did a great job. We appreciate seeing you take the fight, and I'm in the fight with you. Remind them this fight is a fight that we have to do together. By ourselves, Amazon could take out Amazon Teamsters. By ourselves, UPS could take out UPS Teamsters. Together, united, we can stand, and we can stand strong. That's all I got to say. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Keep up the fight. I am so encouraged at everything I'm seeing. It is a breath of fresh air. It really is. All right, guys. Bye.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Abraham. You guys,
You know to call me Albert.
Oh, Albert, appreciate you, man. I mean, everything that I've been hearing today is so inspiring. And like you said, it is encouraging for workers to stand up. When this strike was announced, some Teamsters answered the call by setting up picket line extensions at fulfillment centers. These extensions let us turn around the UPS feeder trucks that had the right to honor picket lines under our UPS contract. Those extensions also led us to reach more Amazon workers, and it was very helpful. We also want to acknowledge that there are lots of buildings that went on strike that we didn't hear reports from today. Every group that took action is important. Here in New York, for example, we had the workers at JFK 8. I'm sure some of them are on the call, IBT, ALU, Local 1. We had people in Atlanta and Chicago that aren't on the call, all doing great work. We want to recognize those workers and leaders too. I think a lot of what you heard Albert saying is, the rank and file is showing up on strike. We're very important. Like Albert said, it's just inspiring to see your brothers and sisters out there in different industry, whether it be Pepsi, beverage. I mean, we had everything from electricians to plumbers to teachers. I mean, just real, like Randy was mentioning, a lot of community support. Even some folks from the DSA and other organizations. a lot of political support. It was just an amazing thing to see. I'm gonna start next with our local unions around the country will be hosting the Amazon organizing training this year. They're open to any member, and there is a right place to get started. I want you guys to hear from Eric Elliott in Chicago Local 705 about how he got started on Amazon organizing by attending an Amazon division training, and I love his story. So, Eric, please give us a little outlook on that.
Thanks, Anthony. For me, I'm a local 705 feeder steward with UPS and have represented UPS drivers on grievances for things like seniority violations and things like that. Um, I happened to be in the break room and I saw a flyer for Amazon training. And I went down to my local and I attended, and my eyes were opened up. Caitlin had put up a couple of slides of what Amazon is doing to the labor movement and to package delivery as a whole. But there is so much more that's taking place. There's stuff that is intentionally kept out of the press by Amazon so that people don't know what's happening. And I got involved. I had the knowledge and I learned how to start having organizing conversations with people. It's one thing to be able to talk to another Amazon driver. It's another to kind of start sowing those seeds of what it means to be a union member and have union protections and join a brotherhood and sisterhood of people that are supporting you in your what is no longer just a job, but a career for people. And for me personally, it's been so inspiring because you listen to the atrocities that take place within the Amazon division and how these employees are treated, how they're tracked and surveilled. And it's those atrocities that have pushed me to ensure that, yeah, we're going to get a contract for these workers because they deserve it. And I wouldn't be here without the ability to have those trainings that were put on by the Amazon division and learn what's taking place and how to be able to interact with drivers and encourage them that they have the power themselves to be able to demand better working conditions, higher pay, and industry standards. So it's it's been inspiring to be with this movement and empowering so many people that are doing the same work as other UPSers. They punch a clock just the same, but the amount of retaliation that these folks are under, the amount of unjust discipline that they receive is just horrendous. And to be able to share what the union difference is with them and kind of give them a glimpse to the other side is so helpful. And it's really rewarding work. So to all the UPSers that are on the call right now, or the other Teamster members with DHL or ABF, you've got an opportunity to become educated. The knowledge is power, and be able to protect the wins that Teamsters have fought for and won, and ensure that our industry is an organized industry. So I would encourage you all to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate those words. And big shout out to everyone who joined our call today. Thank you so much. If you're here, you're ready to take the next step. Educate your coworkers. Share what you learned here today. Participate in your local's Amazon organizing program, or even just attend the training. After the webinar, you will be emailed and texted a form with information on how to get involved in meeting the Amazon challenge. Let us know how you can do your part. I want to thank all the speakers here today. The 2024 strikes were just the beginning, like Randy had mentioned. Now let's take that momentum forward and build some more worker power going into Amazon in 2025. I hope y'all are with me. And as always, solidarity, stay united. Let's put the U back in union. Have a good day, everybody.